On the Fringe with Dan RadioStyle. Hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day. Trump frequently does this. We go into this quiet mode. And the quiet mode is funny because the deep state can't handle a quiet mode. Deep state, or maybe likes to take advantage of the quiet mode to try to push their narrative. But their narrative's always wrong. Always. And what I find very interesting right now is we're seeing some of the conservative folk jump onto these narratives, make some of these assumptions. One of my favorites last week was the Wall Street Journal report talking about how there was going to be thousands of troops on the ground. Now, there might be some troops on the ground, but right now, every indication is no, or very few, if ever. But they've been talking thousands up to, by the end of the week, it was 10,000. Same source, by the way, alleged anonymous sources telling us tens of thousands of troops. And yet that's not likely true. Trump lets them run with this. Why? What happens when somebody says something that's not true, and then people that listen to them go, "Why you were wrong?" How do they respond? How do they react? Eventually, it bothers people. So we got a lot happening. This calm, if you will, that's happening right now, I think is because stuff's getting close to being finalized. Stuff's getting close to being inked, if you will. And a lot of preparation was done before this. That is below the radar, that most of the deep state media, certainly, and a lot of people, content creators that really aren't connected to source in any way, shape, or form, are not seeing. They're not feeling it. They're not getting it. It's just not happening. And we're seeing a lot of that. Very interesting things. I take in info from a lot of different places and so want to comment on all because I assume you're all looking at the same thing, but really, I don't know. I don't know how much of it's actually seen by others and how much of it's not. This is kind of like an example of what I'm just saying, right? Like how much of the crap I see do others see and not see? Well, this is something you wonder frequently about with a lot of the people on the Democratic side, the left, right? We tell these things over and over, and we think they're listening to us, but they're not. They're not even in our echo chambers. They can't stand us. Why would they be in our echo chamber listening to what we say? They don't see most of what we say. But this kind of stuff seems to find its way to them.
Part of the Republican Party?
That's right. Former Democrat, former liberal.
Yeah.
I was a liberal Democrat my whole life.
Is that because the bag has got so intense and so heavy that you had a whole nother, you up there with the elite now? Or?
Not even close. Not even close. Democrats don't care about black people.
Okay,
and they don't care about people. They don't care about people of color. And the Republicans do, and that's the misconception.
And you know what? I agree with you 100%.
Thank you,
People
man.
don't know that the Democrats is the party of the KKK.
Yep.
People don't know that the Republicans are the party that freed the slaves.
Yep.
I mean, both of you and I have some conservative views. You just a little bit more outspoken about it than I am. And I honestly, I don't subscribe to neither party. I rock with W.E.B. Du Bois when he said there's no such thing as two parties. It's just one evil party with two different names. So
yeah, I mean, look, I listen, I'm not married to any party.
Right.
I voted for Donald Trump because we had two options, and he was definitely by far the better option for us. And as of now, I agree with a lot of things that he's doing.
Cleaning house.
Yeah.
He
But
doing what he said he was going to do.
guess what? If there's a time where I don't agree, I'll say I don't agree.
Yeah. We got the Gulf of America now.
Period.
Charging, he's like the club. He's charging a $5 million bottle service fee to get into the country.
I know. Listen. But guess what?
Now, personally, I have no idea who either of these people are, but I'm sure they're very famous in some regard. But this is the reality of it. I mean, the party of the South, the party of slavery, that was the Democrat Party. It is the Democrat Party. It still is. Now, again, I agree with them. You guys know me. I'm independent. I don't like either party. I don't like either party. And it's because of what he said. Spoken eloquently. Both nasty parties with, same master. So, again, if the Republican Party proves to be the party of America, the party of love, party of Christ, party of not killing people, like, all right, cool. I don't know. I don't know if I ever want to be a Republican just because of the history, but I'm on your side. I think you guys know that. So again, a lot of people are coming to that same place, and I think that's important. Secretary Bobby Kennedy talking about Donald Trump and how he was nothing like he thought he was.
Well, let me just say this. President Trump is exactly the opposite of everything that I believed him to be. You know, I basically drank the Kool-Aid that he was this, bombastic narcissist who didn't read books, was ill-informed. And then, now I know exactly the opposite. He's the opposite of a narcissist. He's an empath. You see that every time he talks about the Ukraine war, he talks about the casualties on both sides. You will not hear any Democrat ever talk about that. And he talks about the Russian kids who are dying. He gets the reports every week, and they make a huge impression on him about the death rates. 1,000 kids a day are dying over there. My son fought in Ukraine, and he's the only member of his military unit who survived. And he understands that these are people's children. And he talks about that. And then also, he has...
It just reminds me, a lot of this, is how so many of us decide someone's worth based off of how they view things. How they view things decides whether or not we feel they're worthy, whether we feel they're even allowed to be alive. You know, it's funny. I asked some of my Christian folks, my friends, what's going on in the world, and they get really, really upset with this Muslim, more Islam thing, I hope. But this Islam thing, and it's unacceptable. Sharia law does not work well in a Christian society by any means, or a Western society, or even a Jewish society. It doesn't work well. It's not something that's good with freedom. But a lot of people find that that's a reason to be able to attack another individual. And sure, some of them feel the right to attack us. But we missed the key point, I feel like, which is we're all God's children, aren't we? I thought. That's my understanding of it. Now, again, there's extenuating circumstances where defense is without a doubt necessary. And from the standpoint of what's going on in the world right now, I guess I kind of understand the fact that we've got pockets of evil that have ill intent that will use what they've stored and stockpiled against normal people, like we're seeing right now with Iran. Iran is really indiscriminately attacking anybody, hitting random buildings, just anybody. We are doing our best to hit military targets. Right, wrong, and different. I'm not trying to say we're better per se. We're still killing people, but we are taking down an apparatus that has been used against us for dozens and dozens and dozens, hundreds of years for that matter, thousands of years, really, just not trying to get into all the history. It goes way back. Freaking goes back to the start of Atlantis, the best I know thus far. Now, it really actually predates that. I just don't know a lot about what happened on the other planets before they had their war and fought. I've heard some stories, I've got a little bit of stuff, but the history seems to be a little muddled. Outside of that, pre-Atlantis, these bastards have been here. And yet I still don't want them dead. That's something wrong with me, I say, huh? And probably a bunch of you would agree. Hey, by the way, speaking of which, please do me a favor. I don't ask for favors often, but I'm realizing this is probably what I'm supposed to do, and it's helpful. It helps the channel. If you like it, first off, hit the thumbs up, please. It does actually make a difference, I guess. It's just annoying, but it's whatever. Also, if you haven't subscribed, please do. That actually makes an enormous difference, believe it or not. And the bell notification and all that crap, you should know how to work that. But if you want to see when I got videos coming out, that would be a good idea. Make sure that thing's rung. And here's the thing. Like, if you know one person, I don't want you to spam anybody, please, right? But if you know somebody that might like this, just be like, hey, here's this guy. Maybe he cusses too much, whatever. I mean, whatever disclaimer you got to put on me. Feel good about it, the handoff. Might feel dirty otherwise. He's kind of a pervert. Like, whatever. I don't know. Whatever it was. It would help me a lot. Appreciate you guys. It is you guys, and it's the organic thing that's really going to make the difference, I think, in the end for me. Because there's a lot of things that I don't do intentionally that I could, should, don't want to. Don't think it's right. Even if it costs me subscribers. Right? Like, it sucks. Having principles and shit like that. Who does that? Nobody. Stupid people. That's who does that. Trump's going to put his signature on the U.S. dollar. breaking tradition since 1861. Okay, this is like significant in just like ways, I'm sure many, many ways beyond what I'm about to even say. But so many ways. Okay, it's our 250th anniversary, starting in, I think they said July. Trump and Secretary Bessent, Secretary of Treasury Bessent, their signatures will end up on the U.S. notes. Specifically calls them U.S. notes. Not Federal Reserve notes. U.S. notes. I kind of want that to marinate in for a second. That is beyond huge. First off, it hasn't happened since 1861. Now, I will be honest, my history, obviously, and I always admit this, admittedly, sucks. I am aware of the, 1881, and then it moved into, 1886, 87, something like that, where the whole Federal Reserve thing really started to move forward, our new Constitution, the corporation, all that, and then it kind of led into the 13, 15, whatever it was, when they finally did it, right? What's it called, Island, and they all had their little meeting, and then they ratified this without having all the states. They did it in the middle of the night. A lot of crazy shit happened. It's just a mess, right? This is interesting because I don't know when I should look it up. I'm gonna look it up. When was Jackson president? I want to look it up right now. We'll edit this to make it less annoying. All right, well, that proved to not be totally helpful. 1829 to 1837. Whatever the case is, hasn't been done since 1861, which is significant in its own right. But he's going to have, and Scott Bessent, on the U.S. note, their signature. Now, of course, this is for the 250th year, but this implies a lot of things. There's a war going on with Powell. Powell doesn't want to leave unless they're going to stop the investigation. The investigation is likely what's going to lead to us kicking them to the curb to some degree. And if we can prove that they've been bilking the American people of money for unnecessary things, then we can start to extrapolate. We can start to actually do all sorts of things, and maybe that's how we get out of some of the debt we owe. Because that's the only way we're ever going to move forward, is to get out from this debt. Our current Congress, worthless. 90+% of them, worthless. Worthless. Pieces of shit. Pieces of shit are actually worth more than them, because in most cases, pieces of shit will likely actually lead to fertilizing and good. Congress, no. They're like just a detriment to society. So it's a huge movement. And again, what does it mean? We'll find out. We'll find out for sure. This is Democrats in the 90s, folks, just to give you guys all a good reminder. I hope this is the right thing. Cool.
Legal aliens entering our country.
Our immigration policies are a shambles, plain and simple. And right now, our borders are amazingly porous to people who shouldn't be here, such as terrorists, drug smugglers, etc.
If you break our laws by entering this country without permission and give birth to a child, we reward that child with U.S. citizenship. And we wonder, in this country, why we have an illegal immigration problem.
Unlawful immigration is not acceptable.
We are a nation of immigrants, but we are also a nation of laws. It is wrong and ultimately self-defeating for a nation of immigrants to permit the kind of abuse of our immigration laws we have seen in recent years, and we must do more to stop it.
Yeah, it's funny that song played, and that might inspire next week's music. I wrote it down even, but I don't want the world to see me. I just hope they understand. When everything was made to be broken, I just want you to know who I am. And it's like, I honestly feel like that's been like the whole thing in my life. Like, I don't want to be famous, but at the same time, I want people to know what I've come here to do and what I have done in the background. Like, a lot of what I've done has been behind the scenes. Nobody sees it, and I'm not trying to be braggadocious. It is what it is. I can't prove it anyway. It doesn't matter. But a lot of people are very outwardly, and I'm kind of one of the people that's been proud to be behind the scenes. But sometimes you get a little bummed, right? Sometimes you're like, I don't want to be popular. I don't want people to necessarily be like, good job, Dan. But it's like at the same time, I just want you to know who I am. I just want you guys to know what I've been trying to do and help with. And it's kind of a big part of, I think, what all of us are, right? Don't you just want to be known? Loved, they say, but I think it's deeper than that. I think we all just want somebody to really, really know kind of who we are. Anyway, side note. Side salad, as my good friend Agnes used to always say. She wouldn't talk to me anymore. It was kind of funny. I sent her a thing. I wanted to get together with her again, but I'm kind of like off the original channel, my Dan RadioStyle channel on YouTube. So my numbers are not as big. I think I got about 20,000 subs over there, and generally speaking, larger subs everywhere else. But she didn't really know who I've become and what I do. And it was kind of like I wanted to actually give her some attention now that I've accomplished what I've accomplished. And anyway, it's just funny how life works. President Trump has officially signed an order directing the Secretary Mark Wayne Mullen to pay TSA. Check it out. Are we at Disneyland? What's up with the freaking music? Woo, Mr. Brown! That was a good one. Sermenes sentados, por favor. Remain seated, please. Whatever. I don't know what that was all about. But yeah, he signed it, at least. I don't know what's going on with today's show. Good God. Help me out. Jesus, take the wheel. I wish if I had Jesus as a producer, oh my God, my show would be so good. It'd be so good. Can you imagine? One thing that's cool about being good, well, you can feel great. How about that one? That's not it. That's not what I wanted. Feel great's what I want. That's what I want right there. OTFspecial.com. OTFspecial.com. I love these guys for a lot of things. And I'll be honest, Vision Essentials Plus is one of the ones. I'm almost out on this one. Unimate, huge. Love it. This I use daily. Another one I use daily is this. There's a lot of stuff I've tried, and I'm going to just tell you guys the stuff I use daily. Signal's actually like Gatorade, except no sugar or any of that kind of nonsense. It's like really good. It's very tasty, and it's exceptionally good. So it's just, again, a lot of stuff you mix with water that actually is going to help you tremendously. Their protein powder is bar none. I can kind of reach it. I've got the extra bag. I'm finishing up the first bag I bought downstairs. But it's got 4 ingredients. That's not cool. It's got 4 ingredients that it's got cocoa, stevia, whey protein, and salt. Believe it or not, a little salt actually helps with flavor. It's amazing what it does. That said, that's it. 4 ingredients. They are all about doing things the right way. Now, this product, which is what's their flagship product, this is their Cadillac product, 94% of us are insulin resistant. Insulin resistant. What does that mean? That means your body doesn't do the insulin thing properly. Doesn't mean you're diabetic. Doesn't mean you're not diabetic. What it means is we've got so many weird carbohydrates that we feed ourselves, so many weird foods, so many weird cravings, little snacks. Just so easy just to shovel food into our face any point of the day. And a lot of us believe, well, it's good. It helps your get your metabolism going. Yeah, digesting food does do that, but the constantly adding calories, or even worse, adding things that say there's 0 calories. So you're literally putting food in your body, we're calling it food, that has no calories. Means there's no protein, there's no carbohydrates, and there's no fat. That's what no calories means, by the way. It just means those 3 things don't exist, which is real food. So we're not eating real food anymore. And it's messing with us bad. One of the great things about this product, one, tastes amazing. So you got Unimate. You do that twice a day. You just mix a powder with water, and you just mix. Oh, so good. It's good. I think the lemon is amazing. I haven't tried ginger yet. The lemon's amazing. It tastes like iced tea with lemon. period. End of story. It's so good. Now, if you don't like that flavor, they've got the pomegranate one that tastes like a lot of pomegranate with this weird kind of funky tea taste, in my opinion. All right, you might like that. Maybe it's some of the pomegranate. I don't know. It's good stuff. The lemon ginger I've heard is very good. I haven't tried it, but the lemon's delicious. So I figure the lemon ginger is probably kind of good in a cool sort of zingy way. Whatever the case is, amazing product. It helps with your cravings. It helps with those urges. You run to the fridge to grab some pickles or something weird. Those things go away. It helps you kind of go longer, prolong that I don't need to eat right now. I had a meal just a little bit ago. I don't need to eat. It's got a little bit of caffeine in it, and it's got some other science in it. So you feel this energy. You feel good. You're kind of out doing stuff. You start to go for walks and things like that. You just start to make changes. You don't need to do anything with your diet or anything. That will kind of just happen on its own. I've got so many people from my audience that have already emailed in and said, oh my God, this is changing my life. My A1C numbers, even for you guys that are diabetic, are coming down. Literally, we have doctors taking people off. I like Claudia's story. I think mostly because we'll do John today. I like Claudia because she's Australian. I don't know, something about it. I just love her accent. I got my good Australian friends. By the way, mates, down under, you guys actually have access to this too. There's shipping in Australia. So for my like 4 of you guys out there, especially some of you guys, thinking of you, Dirty, that have your own shows, you guys might want to consider getting in as someone under me. And you can kind of start making commission yourself and start talking to people in Australia, 1, about how not to be so stupid, and 2, how to help their health. They got a lot, and I feel bad for the Aussies. They got a lot of work in front of them. But John's, his wife talked him into doing this, and he was a mess. He was spending all sorts of money. This is the extreme case of what happens to any of us that continues to go down the regular medicine path and not do anything ourselves to change the course we're on. You want to change the course? OTFspecial.com. OTFspecial.com. And then you got the balance. You'll have it with dinner. All that said, it's an amazing product, and you will be shocked. Check out what John's got to say. It literally saved his life. And sounds like hundreds of dollars.
In my early 30s, I got diagnosed type 2 diabetic. I didn't think that I was. I worked 80 hours a week. I just thought I was always going to be tired. I wasn't feeling right. Went into the hospital, actually, because Carrie made me go to the hospital. They asked me, Mr. Cox, how long have you been diabetic? And I said, I'm not. And they said, well, with a blood sugar of 598 and an A1C, I don't think it would register, but they said it was a 16. I said, how did you walk in here? I spent a week at the hospital. They put me on 4 insulin shots per day. I asked, is there anything I can do not to take these? And they said, nope, you're going to be on them forever, which was the biggest lie they could have told me. Long story short, with the insulin, I gained 80 pounds over 10 years. I had fatty liver. I was on 2 blood pressure meds, 1 cholesterol med, eventually developed diabetic retinopathy. I was faced with getting shots right before I started this protocol. But for about 3 years, I battled neuropathy terrible. I mean, it dictated my every thought. My monthly insulin cost was $1,300 a month until my deductible was made, not including the rest of the pills. In the course of that time, I took over 20,000 insulin shots in my life. Becky calls. I finally look at it. Trent and Greg Six and Becky actually show me, and I thought, I have nothing to lose. I was on a path of an early death in 4 months, and I didn't lose any weight for the first month. I didn't realize that because my insulin was so high, I wasn't going to lose weight. But then I lost 35 pounds, and in 4 months, I got off 4 insulin shots per day, 2 blood pressure meds, 1 cholesterol. I got off all my neuropathy meds. When right before we went to Bangkok, I went and had my eyes checked. The doctor was so weirded out about it because she was looking at 18 months ago and she was scanning my eyes. She's like, what are you doing? She goes, your prescription in both eyes improved. You were faced with going blind, and I've never seen you had been diabetic for a day, let alone 20 years. So now I'm down 57 pounds.
I mean, you hear the emotion in his voice at the end of that? That's what is happening. We've been led all sorts of lies, folks. This is an easy way to get yourself into a good progress, a good habit. 3 packets a day. There's 30 packets each box. It's meant to last you 30 days. And you'll actually find your life changing just through this new habit. A new habit of adding packet to water, drinking that, and doing everything else normal at first. You'll decide to change as you progress. But you'll notice and be rewarded for it. It's an odd product that's very good. Again, these guys have a lot of really good stuff. I got a myriad of crap. And I might be doing another giveaway here at some point because I sort of overstocked myself a little. Get carried away sometimes. I want to try stuff. And anyway, I want you guys to go to otfspecial.com, otfspecial.com. Make that step to save your life. Make that step to improve your life. otfspecial.com. All right, what do we got here? Where am I? I think here. This No King stuff turned into a little bit of a fiasco, to say the least. Florida Trump supporters clashed with Antifa leftists during No King's rally, so there was some of that going on.
Take our country back!
No Kings! No Kings!
Raise your sign up.
All right, well, this is exciting. I thought they were going to show some of the other stuff and clashing and stuff. Cops finally showed whatever. All right, well, anyway, that was not the best video. Yeah, so anyway, they got a lot of people that were pissed off. They hate Trump. You guys know it. You know the story. And again, I don't want confrontation. That's not really what this is about. But it is funny because the quote-unquote... So you've got the protesters for No Kings that are going out. These are the ones, this is why they get the term mostly peaceful, because this is like all your old people, your white people, all the white people basically, and some others, but mostly white people that feel guilty about everything. Like they just like internalized the entire slavery movement and have somehow decided it's their fault. Now they're Democrats and they're white. So strong chance lineage would suggest they were in fact guilty of slavery and stuff like that. So I mean maybe it's just. Whatever the case is, they have guilt and remorse, and they act out. And we're seeing a lot of that happen. But then you got the other side. This is all the kids, the anarchists, the ones that are taking advantage of this, the ones that are giving everyone else a bad name. And I'll be honest, if all the old stupid white people it was just them, and they were out doing their stupid pussy hat things and stuff, dude, rock on. That'd be awesome. I'll drive by and I'll act like I like you guys for a second. I mean, as I throw a finger, thumb up, and then, good thing the camera's off because there was a middle finger involved in that. Too. But the No Kings started smashing stuff up also. It was a little smash and grab. Well, not smash and grab. So apparently they were getting rocks from this busted up stuff and then putting it in their pockets is how the story reads, which seems really stupid. Anybody that puts a big piece of rock inside their pocket as a means of carrying it is not an intelligent individual. Someone that should be probably sedated, or put into a padded room. So Los Angeles No Kings demonstration that turned violent. They started assaulting the building with these pieces of brick that we noticed, and they started to try to bust down this gate, They were taking Reagan very seriously about tearing down that wall. They felt very serious about that right here. He is now tired. This is my favorite part. This douchehole over here. Oh, man. I'm so tired from trying to kick a fence down. Dude, get some cardio in, Holmes. Granted, says the guy that gets winded walking up and down the stairs. Dude, I average 7 miles a week on the treadmill. Walking. No, I don't run. Fuck that. Unless the cops are chasing me. That's different. No Kings protest turns violent in Portland, L.A., and Dallas. Say 3 lovely cities. All right? Dallas, Houston, you're almost there, but you guys seem like you're trying to fight right now. I don't know. Maybe Houston has a chance, but Dallas, yeah. Wasn't Crockett from Houston? Or is she from Dallas? I think she's Houston. I don't know. But I think. Whether right or wrong. That's my answer, Chuck. We'll find out. Someone will let me know. Let's see here. We've got action. So yeah, a lot of people. They're actually showing fake riot footage, by the way, from Chicago, from what I understand. Here was some woman arrested. Kind of, it's got a womany face, but sort of womany arms, sort of manly legs. I don't know what's going on here. I don't know what's happening. But yeah, a lot of people were trying to cause issues. Now again, happy all day long to let the old white people with the pussy hats run around all day and do stuff like that. It's fantastic, dude. You guys keep rocking on. I have no issue with you. It doesn't even bother me. I actually think it's entertaining. Supposedly close to where I was at. I was hanging with some friends at a place called The Pub. It's a bar. It's a crap bar. It's a total dive bar. It's a nasty-ass bar, so I don't go there often. I see them on Saturdays typically. I'll go down there and say hi to my friends, right? And I guess just up the street, one of the guys came. He's like, oh, my God, there's like thousands of people. I was like, really? Like, the town I live in is not that big. I mean, we do live close to where they call it Seizure World, but, I mean, it's strange. I don't know. Supposedly thousands of people? I don't know. He's kind of conservative, by the way, too, but he's also very dramatic. Super dramatic, in fact. No King's financials released. Apparently the financiers are Arabella, $79 million. Warren Buffett, $16 million. Ford, $51 million. That one bothered me a lot. Not that I own Fords and never have, and found on road dead, fix or repair daily. Like, I've never had respect for Ford per se, but I did watch that Ford versus Ferrari movie, and I kind of fell in love with Ford a little bit. Just a little bit. Rockefeller, $26 million. Soros, $72 million. Tides Foundation, $45 million. So a total of $294 million plus dollars. I'm not going to say they actually broke it down dollars and cents. Kind of cool. They used a spreadsheet. Oh, you go, boy. Look there's data. I love it. This is the kind of shit I'm into, though. Right? What did they do? Oh, I see. Because there's different different groups that they... Interesting. All said, lots of money. Lots of money we're coming to find out have been used against us, and will continue to be, unless we do something about it. Now, again, U.S. aid being shut off has shut down so much of this. Now, I don't know if they're just trying to bleed off the last of the money they got, because ultimately, if they don't and they lose again one more time, they're done. I don't think they can continue. So this next election, it's all about that. There is something that any of us that are sort of in the know, that kind of have been paying attention, know that's coming in some way, shape, or form. It's probably going to be based off of a national emergency threat. They're already playing all the cards to demonstrate, look, China was messing with us. Other countries were messing with us. We've got fraud happening here in all sorts of places. We're actually seeing that the voting machines were hacked. In fact, plus all the other crap. And they are going and continue to paint the picture that electronic long day voting by mail concepts. I mean, we have China doing fake driver's licenses. They printed a bunch of ballots. There's so much information that everything that the Democrats have, the deep state has been doing to cheat in elections, they're going to show it all. And then they're going to say, there's no way we can fix this. The only thing we can do is, boom, one-day election, paper ballots. We've done it before. Let's do this. In person, count at the local precinct level or whatever. Has to. If we've got to postpone the election, then we'll do that. But no judge, from what most are suggesting, could stop that. They'll try, but it'll be like it's a federal emergency. In fact, if you try to stop me from handling this, you actually can be put in jail, Judge. Now, again, we've heard a lot of stuff. You know, that military's in charge, all this stuff. So, again, at some point, it's going to come to a head where the two rules of law are going to come together and fight each other. And that will be the admonition, or that will be the moment where they not admonition, but admitting, that's where they're going to admit that, yeah, no, we've actually been in charge of the military since, yada, yada. And, it wouldn't surprise me if it actually goes back further than a lot of us wonder even. So this is kind of funny how it plays out. And this is, I guess we'll play this. This is, you guys might remember hers. This is that most ghetto. This chick's ghetto. I played her a couple times, but generally I just, it's just that she's so ghetto and so hates Trump. It's just like pointless to play it. But her, and I, prayers out to your family. No matter how much you hate people on my side of the fence, prayers to your family. I'm sorry for your loss. It's very, very horrible. But ghetto-ass mayor Tiffany Haynard, she's begging for President Trump to do something about it now that her dad's been killed because of violent crime.
Y'all should be ashamed of yourself. Y'all black. Y'all are black. And y'all sitting up here beating and attacking on a black woman that's in power. Y'all should be ashamed of yourselves.
Dalton's difficulties got worse in recent weeks with water main breaks. Henyard blames on trustee budget cuts. Then 4 people were shot and injured last week, leaving nerves frayed and Henyard's opponents pointing out her sizable security detail.
It's unfortunate that politics are being played, but what has happened is $1 million out of my budget has been cut because of politics.
Y'all forget I am the leader. They want to hear from the mayor. If y'all ain't learned that yet, the mayor, not the trustees that don't do nothing, that only run their mouth. Y'all don't do no work.
Tiffany Henyard considers herself something of a crusader, but one who's clearly annoyed by questions from a rebellious group of Dalton trustees who are in a standoff with her over spending.
At the end of the day, vendors are not being paid. Board approved it. The vendors are not being paid.
How about you be a good leader, bring RFPs to the forefront, so not just us, but the residents and everybody else in America know how the money is being spent.
WGN Investigates has cataloged tens of thousands of taxpayer dollars spent on trips, meals, and more by Tiffany Henyard and her allies in Dalton and on the Thornton Township Board, where she's the supervisor. Township credit card records show Henyard and other officials spent more than $67,000 on trips to Portland, Austin, Atlanta, and New York City. Many of the flights were first class. So were the accommodations. In Atlanta, Henyard and her team stayed at the Four Seasons Hotel, costing taxpayers more than $9,000. In New York, the bill came to $13,000.
Yeah, these are the people that are running our different localities. And people are seeing it. This is just many examples that are going to continue to come out. Donald Trump posted this, and this is really good. This is Ratcliffe kicking ass. And I think you guys will feel the same way. He was talking to Robert Mueller, shutting Robert Mueller down for being the dumb piece of shizzle that he is. So good. Check it out.
Good morning, Director. If you'll let me quickly summarize your opening statement this morning. You said in Volume 1 on the issue of conspiracy, the special counsel determined that the investigation did not establish that members of the Trump campaign conspired or coordinated with the Russian government in its election interference activities. And then in Volume 2, for reasons that you explained, the special counsel did not make a determination on whether there was an obstruction of justice crime committed by the president. Is that fair?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
All right, now in explaining that special counsel did not make what you called a traditional prosecution or declination decision, the report on the bottom of page 2 of volume 2 reads as follows. The evidence we obtained about the president's actions and intent presents difficult issues that prevent us from conclusively determining that no criminal conduct occurred. Accordingly, while this report does not conclude that the president committed a crime, it also does not exonerate him. The special counsel's job, nowhere does it say that you were to conclusively determine Donald Trump's innocence or that the special counsel report should determine whether or not to exonerate him. It's not in any of the documents. It's not in your appointment order. It's not in the special counsel regulations. It's not in the OLC opinions, it's not in the Justice Manual, and it's not in the principles of federal prosecution. Nowhere do those words appear together because respectfully, Director, it was not the special counsel's job to conclusively determine Donald Trump's innocence or to exonerate him because the bedrock principle of our justice system is a presumption of innocence. It exists for everyone. Everyone is entitled to it, including sitting presidents. And because there is a presumption of innocence, prosecutors never, ever need to conclusively determine it. Now, Director, the special counsel applied this inverted burden of proof that I can't find and you said doesn't exist anywhere in the department policies, and you used it to write a report. And the very first line of your report, says, and as you read this morning, it authorizes the special counsel to provide the Attorney General with a confidential report explaining the prosecution or declination decisions reached by the special counsel. That's the very first word of your report, right?
That's correct.
Here's the problem, Director. The special counsel didn't do that. On volume 2, with respect to potential obstruction of justice, the special counsel made neither a prosecution decision or a declination decision. You made no decision. You told us this morning and in your report that you made no determination. So respectfully, Director, you didn't follow the special counsel regulations. It clearly says, write a confidential report about decisions reached. Nowhere in here does it say, write a report about decisions that weren't reached. You wrote 180 pages. 180 pages about decisions that weren't reached, about potential crimes that weren't charged or decided. And respectfully, by doing that, you managed to violate every principle and the most sacred of traditions about prosecutors not offering extra prosecutorial analysis about potential crimes that aren't charged. So Americans need to know this as they listen to the Democrats and socialists on the other side of the aisle, as they do dramatic readings from this report, that volume 2 of this report was not authorized under the law to be written. It was written to a legal standard that does not exist at the Justice Department. And it was written in violation of every DOJ principle about extra prosecutorial commentary. I agree with the chairman this morning when he said Donald Trump is not above the law. He's not. But he damn sure shouldn't be below the law.
Yeah, below the law, too. And again, Robert Mueller, who rests in peace, mind you. But, yeah. Speaker Johnson, we're not trying to roll the Senate, trying to do the right thing, the right moral thing, common sense thing. We're not going to play 7 minutes of this, but yeah, he was having a little chit chat, and they're going to battle over this. They're going to provide their own version of the bill. They're not taking what the Senate gave them. Government's not opening up. Trump is getting around that, obviously, and we will see this play out. It's going to go back to the Senate. The Senate's going to have to come back because the government's still shut down. Now, TSA will be paid, but Department of Homeland Security, CISA, many other things won't be, I think, still, right? So, they've got a problem. They got a big problem, in fact. Obama-appointed judge reverses course, rules voter ID law isn't discriminatory. Apparently big win for the GOP. You know, this happened in North Carolina. This was once blocked. Voter identification law has now reversed course and ruled it's constitutional, delivering a major win for Republicans and election security advocates after a 7-year court fight. 7 years. This is huge because North Carolina is obviously one of the states that they've heavily taken over. So good job, North Carolina. You guys, friggin' persistence, okay? This whole idea, where are you going to move out of California, Dan? Somebody's got to stay and fight. Somebody's got to stay and fight. Texas, Austin, any of you guys, especially Austin. Holy crap. Or what about parts of Florida, Miami? You guys are a mess down there. You think you're all sweet and swell in Florida? No. Ohio, good Lord, we lost you. Kentucky, I didn't even realize. You guys just, oh my Lord. They named a woman after you. A group pushing Virginia voters to approve a referendum allowing Democrats to redraw congressional maps has received over $38 million from fewer than a dozen left-wing entities in the past 3 months, including George Soros-backed funds for Policy Reform, Inc. Soros' latest efforts targets Virginia's congressional map, which could shift from 6 Democrats and 5 Republicans to 10 Democrats-leaning districts and 1 Republican district. So we've got a big fight going on in Virginia. A few things have been popping up in Virginia. You guys got some contested elections. I feel like you did good on one of them. We'll keep that up. All that said, fraud for the win seems to be the way things have worked for a long time. Got a lot of stuff here. I think you're going to enjoy it. Check it out. Talking about fraud, Omar, what Vance is doing, whole lot of crap. Check it out.
Said that the Biden administration turned off the fraud protections. Why would your predecessors do that?
You're going to have to ask them. The excuse that I often heard at the beginning was that they turned it off because of COVID, and they didn't want people in COVID not to get money that they were entitled to, but they just kept it off. And so one of the first tasks that all of the agency members of the task force have been given by me is that they have to write a report that is going to explain what the Biden administration did for 4 years to perpetuate fraud and what we've done immediately to turn all those systems back on. And that's one of the first things we're trying to get a handle on is how bad did it get? Why did it get that way? Who is responsible for that? And what have we done to at least turn those systems back on? But then there's a lot more to do. A lot of these agencies need to develop technological solutions to automate fraud preventions. With the right type of data, a lot of our fraud assessments can be made automatically. You don't necessarily need a human sort of checking every individual thing. You can create automated systems that can flag potential fraudulent payments, and that's the way you really stop the fraud. It's not just prosecutions, although those are incredibly important. There aren't enough prosecutors in America to recover all the fraudulently taken money. The way to really stop the fraud, the way to really protect the American taxpayer is to keep it in the agency, to prevent it from going out the door, and that's what we're going to help the agencies do is build up better systems, automatic systems to prevent fraud, to detect fraud, and to work with the Department of Justice to go after the people who do get the money through fraud.
Right. And so fraud's everywhere, right? It's ridiculously everywhere for that matter. Oops. Yeah, still, nonetheless. We've got J.D. Vance talking to Benny Hill, I think his name is, and he is Benny Johnson? Whatever his name is. What's his name? Benny Hill? What is his name? Anyway, talking about Omar and possible stuff that's coming. Yeah.
Talk about Ilhan Omar and Tim Walz.
Exactly.
And obviously, Ilhan Omar, the president and the White House have been out saying that she married her brother, that there is immigration fraud going on here. These are deportable denaturalization offenses. Can you give us an update on that?
Yeah, so we actually think that Ilhan Omar definitely committed immigration fraud against the United States of America. And I talked to Stephen Mueller about this actually recently. We're trying to look at what the remedies are. That's the thing that we're trying to figure out is what are the legal remedies now that we know that she's committed immigration fraud? How do you go after her? How do you investigate her? How do you actually do the thing? How do you build the case necessary to get some justice for the American people? There's a related issue, Benny, which is she has been at the center of a lot of the worst fraudsters in the Somalian community. So do I know that Ilhan Omar was aware that the Quality Leering Center was defrauding the American people? I'm not certain of it, but we at least need to investigate it, because if people can commit wrongdoing without even the fear that they're going to be found out, that's a fundamental problem. So I'm worried about the immigration fraud. I'm also worried about what did Ilhan Omar know about what was happening in the Somali community, and why was nobody looking into it until, frankly, Donald Trump came along?
Right, exactly. As I'm over here messing around like I shouldn't be. Exactly. Ilhan, I like how he says her name, by the way. I was like, wow, I guess that's how you say it. Ilhan Omar's emergency bid to halt the DOJ probe into her explosive wealth surge was apparently brutally denied by federal judge. No hearing, no mercy, doors sealed shut in seconds as the Somali-born congresswoman faces imminent subpoena storm while Senator Marco Rubio fires off, quote, "This isn't just delayed. This is corruption exposed. Her 40 million plus mystery fortune is about to unravel the whole progressive facade," end quote. They had a dash in there, something like a bunch of shit was left out. All said, yeah, mystery fortune. We'll find out. Ilhan Omar is about to have her ass handed to her, if you know what I mean.
Okay, that was far-left Congresswoman Ilhan Omar claiming the Justice Department and Congress probing her sudden skyrocketing wealth to $30 million in just 1 year, that they have a problem with her living the American dream. You heard her say the goddamn United States of America. We've got new questions on where she and her husband got all that money. Joining us now, Forbes Media Chair, Editor-in-Chief Steve Forbes. Steve, new information coming in, and Forbes magazine, your magazine, has reported this too, that the state of Delaware and Washington, D.C. canceled the registrations for Omar's husband's investment firm, Rose Lake, for not paying its back taxes. We saw it owed more than $400,000 to Delaware and nearly $1,800 to D.C. She's claiming it's worth $25 million from less than $1,000 a year before. How can his investment firm not afford to pay taxes? It's supposedly worth an estimated $75 million to $150 million. This is really weird stuff.
Well, weird is not the word for it. There's another word for it called crooked. And that's why we have to have an investigation into this. As you know, the Biden administration started examining her finances and that of her husband. And so surprise, surprise, that investigation went nowhere. But it's amazing how people can go into Congress and then become these entrepreneurial investing geniuses where they come in. She had under $1,000 of net worth and her husband didn't have much, and suddenly now they're multimillionaires. Is there a money laundering operation here? And in terms of the firms themselves, they have a sketchy background. That winery in California that she and her husband own, where did that come from? Where's the wine there? Nobody can seem to find it. So there's a lot of smelly stuff here, and that's why in the American Dream, her version of the American Dream is the Al Capone version of the American Dream, Tony Soprano version of the American Dream, and that is steal it from the taxpayers. And so there's a lot of stuff here, and so when somebody cloaks themselves in the American Dream, and so you have numbers like this, from minus 1,000 to 30, 40 million, you know something is not right.
Yeah,
and
she's also like, blaming people, bullying, doing race baiting, race bullying. There's no evidence, public evidence, there's even a winery. She valued it at $5 million. His investment firm is real. It's supposedly real. Its D.C. headquarters appear to share office space at a WeWork, Steve. There's no track record of his firm managing money, doing M&A deals. No clients we see, investment deals, or any work it's done. They say they do work in 80 nations operating in. There's no SEC registrations for them as investment advisors. What is going on here? This increasingly looks sketchy, both the winery and his investment firm.
Yeah, the winery may not exist, and the firm may be just really a name only, as you say, a WeWork office. Big deal. So that's why the investigation needs to be done. And suddenly all that $30 million, I think you're going to find, I'll make a speculation and prediction, that $30 million came from sources that are illegal, period.
Thank you so much, Steve Forbes, helping us to break it down. We're going to stay on the story.
Yeah, almost sounds like we're kind of coming to terms with the bigger picture, doesn't it? Oh, how strange is that? Anyway, here's a little more.
Now that we have the fraud task force here inside the United States, what will you guys be doing different than something that we haven't done before to tackle fraud here?
Well, two really big things, Nick. So the first of all is we're going to be coordinating across the government in a way that's really never been done before to focus on anti-fraud. So let's say, for example, that Scott Bessent or somebody at the Secretary of Treasury's office sees a fraudulent payment made, but it's not at the Treasury Department, it's at the Center for Medicare and Medicaid. There's going to be coordination now so that when one person in the government sees fraud happening, they're actually telling everybody else so that we can get to the root of it and hopefully prosecute it. And that leads me to my second point, and maybe the most important is we've never before within the Department of Justice had a committed anti-fraud task force, a committed assistant attorney general who's focused on the fraud issue. What our new AAG focused on fraud has told me that right now we don't even prosecute fraud that's under $1.5 million, which means there's a lot of fraudsters who never get caught, who never get punished. We're changing that too.
So there's people who are making $1.5 million committing fraud, and they used to not be prosecuted. When can we expect to see prosecutions take place, for instance, for example, like the Lears at the Leering Center?
So we just got AAG, our new AAG, confirmed. He hasn't even been sworn in yet. I'll swear him in next week, actually. And look, I think the plan is we got to start doing prosecutions as quickly as possible. These cases take a little while to build. You've got to investigate. You've got to gather evidence. But now that we have that guy set up, now that we have Colin McDonald set up, I think in a matter of months, we should be seeing a significant ramp up in the number of prosecutions that we're seeing.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Of course. Good to meet you, man. Thanks for all your hard work.
Thank you.
Yeah, take care.
Let's let the fraudsters leer their lesson the hard way.
Leer their lesson. I like that. That was well done, Nick. I love this. I figure there's my investment to my children. I figure one of y'all is going to go super viral, right? Maybe a bunch of you, hopefully, right? Super viral. And then you're going to be like, Dan, I got inspired by you. You want to come on my show? And I'll be like, thank you. Yes. So anyway, it's an investment. Nick, I doubt I had anything to do with Nick. But Nick, I love you, buddy. I love what you're doing. I love this. I hope any one of you, all of you, become the super gem that you're meant to be. Audits spotlight unusual trend in Medicaid spending for autism care. So again, it's just spikes in the autism spending. We're going to hear more and more about it, right? I mean, you guys get the point. Tim Walz, he's actually pledging his allegiance to Somali Minnesotans. Let's hear his words.
And I will add a special thank you and a special acknowledgement that we will never leave the side of our Somali Minnesotans. Here's our pledge to you. Our Somali Minnesotans, your great-grandchildren will still be here when that orange clown is in the dustbin of history. You will be here.
Does he care about America at all? These are people that are from a totally another country. I get you. But what about the other 95% of your population? Or 93%? I don't even know. Somalis is a big chunk, but not relative to Minnesota. Not relative to Santa Claus and his reindeer. Dude's such a douche. J.D. Vance confirms. Tim Walz. Yeah, if we got any shiz on him, he's going downtown.
I do feel very bad for Tim Walz because of what happened in the October 2024 debate. But unfortunately, we're going to have to maybe kick him again a little bit because, again, look, I don't know. To be clear, I don't know what Tim Walz knew about the fraud that was happening in Minneapolis. But what I do know is that the Department of Justice is now going to look into it. We're now going to investigate it. And if he committed a crime, we're absolutely going to prosecute it.
Yes, same with Gavin Newsom in California. There's a lot
going on
there.
Same with Gavin Newsom. Same with a lot of folks.
Benny and the Jets. Love it. Good job, guys. Benny's huge. He reminds me there's a cooking guy that looks kind of like Benny. Kash Patel pushes against Democratic lawmaker, raises concern within the FBI. Uh-oh. He's wanting to post documents about Eric Swallowell. And his delicious, communist, horrible person. Do you guys see Kim Jong-un's little, oh, damn. Anyway, we're supposed to hate him. I know, they can't be hot, but anyway, Fang kind of, she had like a Down syndrome version of Chinese hot, but whatever. It's okay. Fang still was Eric Swalwell's thing. And Patel wants to release the documents. Oh, God, I hope. I can only hope. The fact that we're talking about it, I think, is ultimately what the FBI director is interested in moving forward. AOC apparently broke the law by spending $19,000 of campaign cash on a ketamine therapy shrink for personal use. For a while, ketamine. Good stuff. I've never tried ketamine. I've seen my brother on it one time. I swear to God, half his face was falling out. It was weird. It was like, whoa. Like, it was weird. Like, I've never tried it, but he was into it. I like mushrooms. That's my thing. I'm kind of cool with that. Herbal things sometimes. Whatever. Bill O'Reilly's traveled to San Francisco Tenderloin neighborhood. It's not, I don't know. Just sounds, when it's San Francisco and then you're also calling it Tenderloin, like, I don't know, it just takes on a dirty meaning to me. It just feels dirty. And then it's San Francisco now with the drug use and everything. Relax, Dan.
So we're going to stop for a moment. So this is a hotel right here up there. You can't stay in that hotel because you will be beaten to a pulp. All right? What the currency here is heroin, cocaine, methamphetamine, all of it tinged now with fentanyl, which will kill you like that. Now, these addicted people, these street people, they don't care whether they live or die, most of them, okay? Their whole lives center around intoxication. That's it. At the same time, the city gives them needles, crack pipes. It's just insane. So the problem never gets solved. It's circular. Now, why do they come here? Why not go to Des Moines or someplace like that? Because the city of San Francisco and the state of California gives them money, as we discussed earlier. Cash, okay? For nothing. And they use the cash to get intoxicated, to buy drugs. So why wouldn't you come here to San Francisco? It doesn't snow. It's not hot in the summer. And the people who live here are just terrorized.
Dude, it gets down into like the 30s, man. Which I say jokingly to people that live in like Minnesota. They're like, it was like minus 47 degrees with wind chill. And then Santa went ching, 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 flying by. Rudolph doing his nose reindeer thing. Just because I say they live in the North Pole. They don't. They're a long way from it. I know. It's okay. You guys have to learn to have fun. A lot more fun.
So we're going to stop for a moment.
We're going to definitely stop for a moment. We're going to stop longer than that, probably, Bill. Mr. O'Reilly. How do we end up with two of these? Oh, here's where they kind of talk about this a little more with Cuomo. My point is kind of a lot of attention is being brought from a lot of areas right now. Even Cuomo's show, which you got to keep in mind. O'Reilly, he's deep state, I think, ish. But again, a lot of people have been given the choice. Do you care about America? And a lot of people are really, essentially MAGA at heart, but maybe, like greedy as fuck, And so people like that are tricky. It's not just about the money, right? And they're like, no. So again, it is one of those things. But still,
City of
nonetheless,
San Francisco
is Bill O'Reilly talking to him. I think it's pretty good. Again, sorry, dragging it on.
You know who sells the narcotics down there in San Francisco and in Oakland? Honduran drug gangs who are here illegally. You know who protects them? The sanctuary laws of San Francisco and California. They strut around armed to the teeth, okay, knowing that no one on the federal level can bother them, okay, because the state and the city won't cooperate, as almost every state does with joint task force. California won't do it. So Honduran drug gangs in this country illegally are fueling a massive fentanyl crisis that has destroyed the city of San Francisco, and the mayor knows it, and the governor knows it, and Pelosi knows it, and Kamala Harris knows it, and they never did anything about it. How about that for a headline?
Well, I think it's a damning headline, and that's why San Francisco's been getting crushed, and Newsom has such a big burden to try to make it as the Democratic nominee.
It was once the most beautiful city in the country. I used to love to go there. Now, little children watch drug addicts inject themselves with needles in their neck as they walk to school. Now, Hondurans here illegally cut off people's hands with machetes if they don't pay their drug debts. Okay? This isn't about narcotics. This is about massive violence. Meanwhile, 2 miles away, Nancy Pelosi is living in an $8 million house guarded by security. So she doesn't have to experience any of it. Where do you see this special? This is old-time reporting, Cuomo.
Yeah, old-time reporting is right. So, again, people are kind of finding it, or it's finding them. I don't know. We'll see. Los Angeles tiny homes program. This is just fucked up. It's an example of all the stupid shit goes on. There's so many of these people. There's in this country, there's probably 1 million of these organizations that are frauding. And of these million, I would say 5 per person that's fraudulent. Meaning there's fraudulent people, and they've got 5 of these companies at least, as an average. Los Angeles tiny homes. So these are little itty-bitty homes for homeless people. They made around 150 small huts. They were funded at $150 a night. Little itty-bitty huts. 1 room, probably a bathroom, maybe a shower if they're lucky, a kitchenette, I don't know. Doubtful, but whatever. Something that they can't burn the house down with, maybe. $150 a night that they charge the city, even if it's got nobody in it. $675,000 a month this one company makes, having these 150 small little huts. $675,000 a month. Whether it's got a person or not. So they don't even have to fill it. They just get paid. Oh, it's awesome. I mean, that's how you do it. A little bit of Epstein, a little bit. House Oversight Panel is seeking testimony from private investigator who removed evidence. Go ahead and listen to this.
House Democrats are seeking testimony from private investigators hired to remove computers, phone directories, sex toys, and pornography from Jeffrey Epstein's Palm Beach mansion 11 days before a 2005 police raid. A memo from the Epstein file shows one of his lawyers had given instructions to remove items of potential evidentiary value, and the private investigation firm sent Epstein this invoice for monthly rentals of a New York City storage unit. On the day of the police search, video taken by Palm Beach detectives shows monitors, keyboards, and printers, but the computer's missing. An inventory list shows the private investigators had already removed 3 computers, a list of Florida masseuses, nude photos, sex manuals, and 29 telephone directories believed to hold Epstein's contacts of the rich and powerful. In letters obtained by ABC News, Democrats on the House Oversight Committee say they want the private investigators to provide insight into the contents, removal, storage, and location of materials removed from Mr. Epstein's Palm Beach home, and to explain the reason for the removal of these materials.
This idea that now these private investigators have this enormous amount of information that has not been accessible to us on the committee or in Congress or the American public is pretty significant.
The missing items have never been fully recovered. If the private investigators refuse to give up the information voluntarily in the next 2 weeks, it's possible, guys, the committee could seek a subpoena.
You know, it just dawned on me, guys. I'm sorry. This is side salads that I do. It's on the screen. At OTF with DRS. With WITH. At OTF with at OTF with DRS. I don't know why it's not good. My Twitter handle is stupid. But it is funny because a lady was asking me, Regina is her name, she's a nice lady, seems to me anyways. And she said, you know, radio and you talk about all this crap of fakery and stuff. Just one example. It's just one of the things that bothered me probably, I don't know, the most maybe when I found it out, when I saw Behind the Veil, I would think. I don't know, maybe I got worse. We'll see what I come up with. There's a lot of weird shit we used to do. A lot of fakery you could do because nobody could see you. Now it's got cameras and stuff. It changes things a little, but you can still control a lot of it. You pre-produce. There's a lot of things you do to enhance. That's why I like to record, frankly. Not because I like to change it, though sometimes when I say super stupid shit, I do cut it out. It happens once in a while where you're just like, where were you going, Dan? Right? Like the devil got a hold of the ship. You know, like, so you gotta cut that shit out, man. You can't have it happen. But the one thing that really bothered me, they would send discs out of an interview with, I don't know, some fancy person, Huey Lewis or whatever, right? I'm just saying Huey Lewis. There was Van Zandt. There was so many. I saw countless of these things, thousands, hundreds of them, anyways. So these people would do interviews with random people throughout the nation, and they'd record it. Now, they'd be whoever they are, but they were tied in the deep state in some way, shape, or form, just to make it easy, just to lump them all together. And they would take these recordings, they would chop out the questioner. And you had the script, they'd send the script with the DVD or CD. And so what you would do is you'd put the CD in the tray, and you would take the script, and you would open up the microphone. You'd do this in the studio. You'd pre-record it. You'd be like, I had an interview. We did it on the phone, or whatever, right? Depending how it sounds. Yeah. He came into the studio. You just say that usually, right? And I'll give you one other example of this. And so they come in, quote unquote, to the studio, and it's a DVD. And you have the questions. You ask the question, and then the answer plays, and then you ask the next question, and you play the second answer. And literally, that's how a lot of interviews, and it got passed around from market to market to market like you did the interview. Fake. Another one I had, you weren't allowed to really take requests for music. At a classic rock, major station, 100,000 watt, big deal. You don't do that. You're not allowed. I got in big trouble doing it multiple times. Big trouble. Huge. Seriously, friggin' huge trouble. Might even be why I might have eventually met my demise. You don't play what the people want. You play what the research says to play. So what I would do is I had a mini disc, and I still have it, by the way. One of these, I have it attached too. I have a mini disc player attached to this system. Like one of these days I might do it. I wonder. But I literally would just ask people. So they'd call in and be like, hey, can you play, whatever? And you'd be like, no, but I got Forever Young coming up or something like that, right? Like, why don't you ask for that? And they'd be like, okay. So I recorded a whole bunch of like the songs we played all the damn time of people asking for them. And I could do a full 100% request show It was all bullshit. It's not what they wanted. I talked them into what they wanted. They just wanted to be on the air. There you go. Told you all that shit. I don't know what that story was. I don't even care anymore. Good Lord, we have a lot. I'm long. I'm not going to do all this. Siblings charged for planting explosives near an Air Force base. It's a Chinese story. They tried to run away. One of them came back, probably to clean up stuff. There's all sorts of residue. Needless to say, they're all in trouble. Every bit of the family. They're Chinese. Blah, blah, blah. MyPillow.com/OTF. A lot of great products, guys. Free shipping. I think it's supposed to be over, but apparently it's still there. Mike's like, really? You sure you want to activate this? You have an option. MyPillow.com/OTF. Super mattress toppers. They're trying to close out the warehouse. They've got the best pillows ever. Best sheets. The $29.98 sheet deal. It's still on my site, so take advantage of it if you can. Today is Sunday. Take advantage. The best towels ever. Oh, $34.98. I feel like that's been lowered. $34.98. Dude, get the towels. The towels are the best. Get the towels. $34.98. They dropped them $5. Get them. They're trying to close out a warehouse. They don't want to move these things. Look at the towels. Get the towels. Get the towels. That's it. I'm not even going to push anymore. Towels. Get them. They're the best damn towel ever. Swear to God. Swear to God. If you haven't never bought them, buy them. If you've bought them, get some more. You know what I'm talking about. MyPillow.com/OTF. MyPillow.com/OTF. Free shipping at the freaking towels. Dude, I kid you not. Best damn towel you ever use. You will. The pillow too. Get one of those if you haven't. If you don't have one of those, get one of those. That's the other thing. For sure. That's how I fell in love with the company. MyPillow.com/OTF. All right, stinky cover up. Yeah, this again, the Brits, this phone of the dude that knew Epstein, it's disappeared. They can't find it. There's no investigation, whatever. It's England. I'm so bummed with you guys. European conservative lawmakers warn of no-go zones tied to mass immigration and Islamization. There's areas where you can't go. Dangerous to go because of those things. And the EU is now, like the Polish president is saying, in need of urgent repair. And yeah, he's talking about this influx. He's like, no, this needs to change. This needs to change. Europe is not happy with what's going on. Also, suspected Ukrainian drone apparently crashed in Finland. Didn't hurt anybody, thank God. Could have. But it was going to Finland, probably on the way to Russia, but it crashed in Finland. And what's funny is it continued in Finland and seemed like it wasn't working properly and probably would have blown somebody up in Finland. It took a little while in Finland from what the story is saying. I mean, it could be BS. It's Russian nonsense news. So who knows? Who knows? Can't trust anything anymore. Can't trust this. Do. Oh, cool. It's not as bad as it feels. I didn't cut a bunch of stuff that I was supposed to. Makes me feel better. U.S. monitoring surge in China's detention of Panama-flagged vessels. They're actually taking Panama-flagged vessels, and they think it's because Panama Supreme Court sided with the United States, because the United States basically told them, here's the thing, I don't care what you do. We're going to take over this thing, and we don't give a shit what you do. How about that, Supreme Court? You want to play this out to the people however you want to play it out. You want to remain in power, or do you want us to just assume control? Because we're cool either way. So, China's playing hardball. They're actually literally detaining vessels from Panama, flagged from Panama. That's interesting. Also, North Korea conducting engine tests for a missile capable of reaching the intercontinental United States. So, is this the next place we're supposed to proxy war with China? I wonder. And Trump is starving China right now. Trump is fucking with China hard right now. And it's all because of the bigger, what the deep state was trying to do. The CCP, I think maybe helping Xi shut that down, I think, but we'll see. I think there's two components to China, but meh. But deep state North Korea for sure. Kim Jong-un with his friggin' hot little daughter that's probably barely old enough to legally even. She drives a tank. Come on, man. Drives a tank and she's hot. Her dad's a dick. I mean, I wouldn't want to, is dad leaving? Yeah, he's going out of town. What do you want? I got to go with him. Oh, fuck. Really? Again? Damn right. All right. No. All right. No. Sorry. Yeah. All right. Anyway. Things are funny to me. People don't care. You guys. Some people don't have sense of humor. Or mine sucks. It's probably a mixture of both. Crowd goes crazy as exiled Iranian crowd. This is the former president who I think is going to take new hold once things change. And he's well liked by the Iranian people. And he was at CPAC, which had super low attendance, and their main person caused a lot of consternation with some stupid shit. So, whatever. I don't know what's going on with CPAC, but all said,
President Trump is making America great again. I intend to make Iran great again.
Yeah, I said it 100 times. I had my lab partner, one of my best friends, Zahedi was his last name. I love the guy. Love him. Like, I'll never forget him. He's my buddy. Dude was awesome. We went through chemistry together, man. It was brutal. And smoked a bunch. Anyway. U.S. Gerald Ford, it arrived at Croatia, is the port that we're like, dude, we got to get this fixed. So I think the damage to the Ford was significant. There's supposedly issues with the plumbing. There's been talk of that. Also, obviously, the fire that occurred from the laundry room. I wonder just a lot of things on what's actually happened, but the damage was significant. They needed to get it. They didn't even want to make it all the way home. That was one question or concern or wonder I had. Apparently, this Croatian base is one of significance. It begs another question. Is this a better place for those forces to be? So giving everybody maybe a rest, giving a chance to fix some stuff and rearm. And apparently this is one of the places we're able to fly in all sorts of stuff. So that's interesting. Split is the name of the city, which is funny. Split. Splitting the path. Guys, you know, like they say in the movie, right? There's no accidents. I just feel like this is one of those moments. I don't always say that. You guys know me. I'm like one of the last people to say that kind of shit. But that one's pretty bright in your face. Split. Iran claims destruction of a U.S. spy plane. This Saudi base got hit. They got an E-3 Sentry. These things are the AWACS planes. They're pretty crazy. They're expensive as hell, but it's mostly because of all the electronics and shit inside of them. I don't know. I mean, some of that might have been saved. They got the dish. I honestly think the dish is probably not the most, maybe. I doubt it's the most expensive part. I bet there's a lot of equipment that actually processes and does a lot of stuff. Anyway, whatever. The dish is probably... They blew up the dish, all right? It's placed exactly where they blew it up. Now, this is Russian targeting. I think this is Russia flexing its muscles a little at us. And this is part of the larger chess game that's happening right now with Xi, Putin, and I say these people just loosely, but Xi, Putin, and Trump. Nobody else really matters. These are the only people that have legitimate, like, satellites and whatnot that can actually make a difference. Now, we apparently, had 16 of these, something shizzle like that. And now we've lost one, whatever. So we got, here they are. They say they produced 70 of these things between 77 and 92. 16 of them still active. I assume that counts after the one's been smoked. So there's still 16 left, I guess, which Trump loves 7. So he's like, we don't like that number. Let's smoke one of these bastards. I think it was tail number 5, which makes me think this is one of the 5th one produced. Am I wrong on that, guys? I feel like the tail number is it a 1 or not? I don't know if we can zoom in on that. It's like, this is 0005, right? So I wonder. 5th plane, right? Yeah. So crazy. 10 Americans injured in this attack. 2 of them severely injured. Not critically yet, they're saying, but we might get a couple more deaths. I don't know if this is meant to, try to keep us engaged, pissed off, acceptable of another month. Feels like it's that. Let's kill a couple more Americans. White hats, I don't know. It happens. There's a lot of people that are very black and white, and it's like, it's not how the world works. I don't know. If you're going to have a war, there's got to be some stuff. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I think it's stupid that we kill each other, period. Frankly, it's pretty easy, but U.S. is deploying Ukrainian-style boats. So we're doing this boat things. They're drones. They're not attack boats. They're more reconnaissance is what they're saying. They've got a lot of hours with these. Not a lot, in my opinion. If the number they gave us was stupid. 450 underway hours. Really? That's it? That's stupid. Because, in my opinion, this is how I understand underway hours. If I have, I don't know, five boats, and both of them are running for 9 hours, that's 9 times 5. That's 45 underway hours. If I do that 10 days in a row, that's 450 underway hours. And that's just 5. I'd hope we have more of these stupid things. I mean, whatever. They got little, like, you know, it's kind of, I mean, it's so hinky, but it's like, it's smart. It's cheap. And they're all stealthy looking, too. That's cool. I love the camo on them. They got that digital camo, too. It's like, I can't even see it visually. What? What is this? Trump pointing out, Ishakdar says, I'm pleased to share great news. The government of Iran has agreed to allow 20 more ships under the Pakistani flag to pass through the Strait of Hormuz. 2 ships will cross the strait daily. This is a welcome and constructive gesture by Iran and deserves appreciation. It is a harbinger of peace and will help usher stability in the region. This positive announcement marks a meaningful step towards peace and strength of our collective efforts. So blah, blah, blah. So there is this movement from somebody within the official totally fucked up government of Iran. Now, a lot of the news that says there's no discussions being had, that's not actual people in charge. That's the thing. They're getting targeted. They walk outside anywhere and don't look up. There's something wrong. Pentagon preps weeks-long ground ops in Iran as U.S. Marines arrive in the theater. Now, again, this is the push, boots on the ground. There is the possibility we might have to put some boots on the ground. Karg Island, maybe, possibly, along the shores, though I'm doubtful of a lot of that. Again, the helicopters, our technology, the things we are able to do that we don't even want to necessarily show you. We're using Apaches and A-10s right now. We're using like the A-10's older, but I mean, the Apache's a pretty good piece of equipment, but 90s, man. These things, and they're awesome. I mean, they're freaking awesome. So we are in a fun little place, for lack of a better way to put it. Dallas crowd cheers for Trump impeachment hearings. This is, again, the CPAC thing. Matt Schlapp. Some weird stuff coming out. People are showing their weirdness. In fact, Nancy Mace is saying, I'm going to be voting against funding if we're going to be putting troops on the ground. This is all based off of a Wall Street Journal report from anonymous sources. That's what Nancy Mace is referring to. So she's making decisions based off a bullshit story. And I find that to be very concerning. That's Marjorie Taylor Greene did this kind of shit. Like, I don't care that you're a woman. I don't care that you were raped. And I think that's horrible, Nancy Mace. I wish no harm to any woman ever. All women should be loved. I have a sister. I have a mother. Like, I have actual multiple mothers. This is not acceptable. But at the same time, you're not president of the world forever. So we gotta move forward, guys. This idea of boots on the ground is being pushed not by Trump. They've been pretty staunch about not doing that. Apparently Netanyahu has been funding Hamas. I don't know if this is all in, I don't even want to watch this because if it's all in Israel or Jewish, what do you call it? And again, I'm not trying to go total anti. Again, Israel is another thing people keep saying, right? It's Israel. And it's like, I don't like it when we go after a group of people, right? There's a bunch of Israelis There's bad people all over the place right now. We've got a bunch in our government, okay, 90% of Congress, okay? So when we point at Israel and go, the Israelis, no. It's the deep state within Israel. There's a bunch of awesome Israeli people, right, that have lived in constant fight because of where they're at in the world, which is not necessarily their fault. Deep state sucks balls, guys. I mean, we just have to kind of be more acceptant of that, right? I think I'm making up words today, by the way. Yeah. Israeli forces raises flags over the Syrian town. This is a weird thing, raising a flag over a town. This is Syria. They're in another country. This could be tied into the deep state. There is a deep state component of Israel. There was, I think, a deep state component to the Navy, in our Navy. There was a dark Navy. You can do some digging into it, but almost sure. We had a pretty sufficient fleet that was dark Navy. Might still exist, but my understanding has been destroyed over a period of a few things. That submarine attack that happened at Trump years ago. Anyway, there's a lot of components to this, but mostly been smoked is what we understand. Anyways, we'll see. We'll see. Crazy going on. Israeli military chief warns that Israel's kind of running into a tough place. Again, who's this? This guy trying to work with morale, who knows? He's a current guy, I think. Military chief of staff. He's not former. He's Lieutenant General Eyal Zamir. He's warned the IDF is going to collapse in on itself. Multi-front war, running out of stuff, running out of people. Running into a problem, they might say. Now, funnily, sure, making up, like I said, words, fuck them. We're making them up today. Senator Bernie Sanders, he says he's going to be forcing a vote in the Senate on legislation to block the sale of nearly $1 billion of weapons to Israel military. But totally okay with sales to Ukraine. Why? Why is that? I don't think it's okay to do. Yeah, whatever, Bernie. And again, I don't know. I borderline liked you, probably back when Trump was running the first time. I mean, that's probably where I was like, I don't know, Bernie wins, that'd be kind of cool. And then when the Hillary thing happened, I'm like, these guys are, again, they're cheating everywhere. That's where it's like, that's where I realized how fake everything is. Like, that's why I spent the time on the radio stuff. Fakery is a funny thing. Most people trust so easily. Most people just, it's just so-and-so said it. Oh, God. That means nothing. Zero. I don't know how to push further. Trump says Cuba's next. Cuba is next.
No, but I was watching this and I'm hearing them saying, could he be losing the MAGA base? I don't think so. You know why? Because MAGA wants to win, number one. Number two, they want our country protected. They don't want another country out there that's hostile and crazy to have a nuclear weapon. And number three, they like us protecting certain allies, whether it's Israel or Saudi Arabia or Qatar or UAE, any of them. They want that. MAGA wants strength and they want victory. They want success. And that's what we have. And we have been very, very successful. You know, when I went into Venezuela, I said, because I campaigned on the fact, peace through strength, you wouldn't have to use it. I said, you'll never have to use it, but sometimes use it. And Cuba's next, by the way, but pretend I didn't say that, please. Pretend I didn't say that. Please, media, please disregard that statement. Thank you very much. Cuba's next.
Wow, that was a weird video. Cuba's getting figured out. Sounds like, anyways. There's a little bit of our boy Marco talking about it.
About it in the G7, okay? Everybody talks about these blackouts. Cuba's been having blackouts all of last year, all the year before. There isn't a naval blockade surrounding Cuba. The reason why Cuba doesn't have oil and fuel is because they want it for free. And people don't give away oil and fuel for free on a regular basis, unless it was the Soviet Union subsidizing them or Maduro subsidizing them. They just don't do it. They may get a shipment here or there now and then, but not enough to sustain their country. Okay, so the reason why they're having that's why they don't have fuel, and the reason why they're having blackouts is because they have equipment from the 1950s and 60s that they never maintained or kept up.
Yeah, they got a bunch of crap technology, nonsense. Nonsense poopy pants. They don't have anything of worth. It's a horrible thing. So anyways, it is what it is. Asia's pricing for U.S. oil against Brent, the volatility. There's the Asian oil price, they're saying is 169, basically, as of, I think, this morning. No, 2 mornings ago. $169 a barrel. We're down around 100. Huge ass difference. So a lot of countries are starting to trade with our oil. That's why there's 3 prices, 3 poles, 3 prices. They're buying our oil because it's cheaper. And there's no wars happening on our shores. Except that one place where there was an explosion recently. Refinery. Strange. Maersk has slapped an emergency fuel surcharge on all shipments right now because, yeah, they got a problem with fuel right now. Trump hit the deep state hard. All of their, I'm going to guess, much of the deep state's fueling, much of the deep state's diesel, much of the deep state's stuff comes out of this Strait of Hormuz. The fact that Trump's allowing this to continue, the fact that this is continuing to happen isn't a failure on Trump's part. It's an issue of how long we've got to choke the deep state before they actually tap out or pass out. That's literally what's happening. And so Trump's like, might have to go a little longer. So Maersk is dying. Hormuz bypassed, maxed out. Saudi Arabia, they've pumped everything. They knew this was coming. Trump told them. They've started preparing. So they've maxed the amount of stuff they're able to push across their country into the Red Sea. Now, there's been discussions that they're going to try to start fights over there, but it's too far. It's way too far, and they don't have the abilities to try to fight a multi-front war by any stretch of the imagination. There's not enough of these Houthi people to do it. So, it ain't happening. And if they start up, Saudi Arabia, first off, will smoke anything happening on their territory. For sure. It's not like happening there, right? So, they can't. It's not easy to do. You can't just go running their navy around. They don't have a navy. So, things are changing. Alarming West Texas oil theft. This is, I guess, people have been stealing oil out of West Texas. They're saying 8 barrels a day. How many was it? 500 barrels of crude are stolen each week. 500 barrels. Which, again, they talk about millions of barrels and stuff. All right, what's 500 barrels? Well, you're stealing something. And then I don't know who they're selling it to. Maybe they sell it to the refineries as something and they just get discount price, but they're stealing it from somebody. So that's pretty screwed up. That's crazy, though. So people are literally just stealing oil. Steel technology, steel techs, piping, equipment, tools, wiring, all that shit happens all over the place, especially people that aren't from here don't seem to care. There's all about making money. And it's like, well, these people have wires and shit everywhere. That's stupid. These street lights, dude, we could take those things apart and sell it. It's like, but don't you want street lights? No, I don't give a shit about street lights. I want money. Right? Again, problem. We found out about this dude that they had to bring the people back from the space station. You guys remember that? Apparently this dude just suddenly couldn't talk. Couldn't talk. Stopped being able to talk. The episode lasted 20 minutes. So they brought everyone back. Because he couldn't talk for 20 minutes. I don't know. I wonder where other people come with stuff. Yeah. Tiger Woods, his girlfriend, Vanessa Trump, by the way. She used to be married to Donald Trump Jr. They made a big damn deal about that. So, yeah, apparently they divorced back in 2019 or something like that. She probably went woke or whatever and then married Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods has now had his 3rd DUI. He's not drinking, though. No, he's not a drinker, folks. He's a pain med, folks, we think is what's happening. And so he flipped his car somehow. Someone said he came up over like a trailer or something and flipped it on its side, which is hard to do because it was a pretty small street. Nonetheless, Tiger Woods was capable of smoking himself on that own thing. And he did it. So there you go. There you go. A lot of, he doesn't look very good anymore, does he? Poor Tiger. Boy, poor Tiger. That's kind of what happens, man. I don't know. Hard living. My hair's thinning too. Maybe I got to be careful. What am I doing? Got to watch out. You got to watch out. And Mars mystery solved, they say. This is kind of stupid. I don't think it's solved. They got this thing. Look at this thing. This thing is supposed to, they're like, nah, it's just a rock that's been eroded. No, there's no way in hell that cylindrical shaped rock is anything but, you could have gone with space debris from when you guys landed. I mean, any number of things would have been better choices. But nature never creates a cylindrical object. No, never, ever, ever. Not like that. Here's a bunch of nature-produced stuff all around it. Nothing looks anywhere near like that weirdly cylindrically tubed down to a point-shaped thing. Almost aerodynamic in nature. Yeah, sure. Literally, they're like, no, it was just rocks over a period of time, and then they show some stupid stuff. They're like, this looks like coral, but it's not coral. That actually looks like coral to me. That's probably coral. So it's stupid that they're saying it's not. Now this, I think they say, is an open book. Yeah, I agree. That doesn't look like anything. I don't know what the hell that is, but that's not an open book. That looks like coral. That's definitely a thing. I don't know. And then, yeah, that's a face. Okay. Maybe. I mean, I've seen a face on Mars. That's different. And this is stupid. So this even looks, I don't even know what's going on here. This just looks drawn in and shit. This is just, so again, so how do you try to push away from the fact that there's a thing that's definitely not natural from stupid stuff? You just lump it in with stupid stuff, right? 3 of these things belong together. One of these is not the same. All right, well, that's all said. Let's do that. Close tabs is right. Makes it better. Yeah, we got so much going on, guys. And I'm sorry I went long today, but it is Sunday. It's a Sunday show, and I'm having fun. It's a good time. And I'm picking, music's the thing. I've been thinking the whole time. Every time a video's been playing, I'm like, what am I going to do this week? I've got some ideas. But we got to see. It's a lot happening. We've got a lot of changes occurring. And ultimately, you guys making your ripples is what's going to make the difference. If you guys didn't hit the thumbs up, please do. If you haven't hit the subscribe, please do. I love you guys, and we will continue to fight this fight together. I am there with you. Where we go one, we go all. It's on the Fringe with Dan RadioStyle.